So I'm one of those people that both my mother and father have passed away. Even though I'm relatively young for that to happen, I'm 40 now, and I think because my father had me while he was, I think he was about my age now when he had me, and yeah, and I think my mother passed away quite young. She was in her 60s, I believe, early 60s, and of course, what I see, I was always baffled by both my mother and father in terms of I always thought that I was just alien to them. And I think this is a common experience for a lot of young people that you just feel that you're so different to your parents. But I honestly believe that this is a type of natural thing that occurs so children can de-identify with their parents and live a live a strong individual life. But it's not real. In my case, it wasn't real. I am my mother and father, and I can see that I had a very difficult relationship with my mother ever since I was young. And eventually we stopped talking, and we didn't talk for a long, many years. And I unfortunately wasn't with her when she passed away. I found out via an email when I was in other countries. and and yeah, it was difficult because she was very hard to understand. She There was never any affection or kindness that came from her, and I would never felt like I was listened to or respected or heard as a child. And she used to get these crazy migraines that used to freak me out when I was a kid. She would be in so much pain, I wouldn't see her for days, and she'd go get a shot of something, I think morphine from the doctor, and she'd just sleep for days, and then she'd be okay again. But it was just seems so completely severe. And she was kind of into spiritual things in terms of like tarot cards, and she used to say she could see auras, and she had these unusual claims that she would make. But she was very intelligent. I can see that she was insightful and intelligent. She was just troubled. She had mental health issues. And and pretty much all of this stuff I can relate to. And as I get older, I realize, wow, I see her. I see her experience, and I see why she wasn't able to give us what we wanted as kids, why she wasn't able to see us, why she couldn't see past herself to give anything of positive value to her children. I see it because I live it. I live with similar mental health issues that she had, and I see in myself. I see the depression, the fog that comes over you that just doesn't, there's nothing you can do about it. You can still live your life and function, but you're not there. You're just this miserable fog that isolates you. And I believe up until the end of her life, she was quite isolated. I remember as a kid, she couldn't really keep friends and friendships and relationships and that for very well. Friends and friendships. She had a good relationship up until he passed away, my stepfather. So that was really good. But you could see that she used to cut friends off and just wouldn't really get close to anyone except for her partner. And I see that in myself as well, where it is difficult to sustain and maintain friendships when you're battling these intense experiences that you don't understand all the time. I even started to get psychotic, not psychotic, but psychosis, very mild type symptoms where if I eat carbohydrates, I will see things moving that aren't. Kind of see things, it's very subtle. It's not like I'm hearing voices or seeing full-fledged people that aren't there, but it's these subtle visual disturbances that I get that I'm like, okay, interesting. And pretty much, yeah, my experience, I think it's very similar to hers, even though I hated her for so long, and I really, really hated her for so long because I just didn't understand why she was so selfish, and it was just a reaction to the way I was treated as a kid that I knew wasn't right. But I now understand. And in terms of my father, he was a good man. He was full of love. He was an entrepreneur. He was an incredible salesman. He got shit done. He was full of love. And he was healthy. He ran and he exercised his job up until he was 73 when he passed away. And he was exercising, and his job's very physical and getting out there and being with people. He had family, and a really, really good man. But he had this thyroid cancer that just wiped him out so quickly. It just so quickly wiped him out. And what I understand now is that for me, carbohydrates cause so many problems. It's just, people don't understand. I talk to people in my life, and they don't, these people, most people eat a high carb plant-based diet, right? A little bit of meat or whatever. It's still plant-based. And I tell them that I can't eat carbs, and I don't ever go into details. Sometimes they ask, it's rare, they're like, oh, that's strange. But people don't understand the severity of what happens if I do. It's crazy. The stuff that these things do to me. Like I said, the hallucinations, the depression, the anxiety, the panic attacks. I feel like I can't breathe, heart palpitations, sore stomach, diarrhea, bloating, migraines that I'm getting. Similar to my mother, not as bad, but these sharp, energetic spikes in the head, insomnia, all the stuff. It's really crazy, and it can last up to a week. I don't know how it lasts that long, but it lasts up to a week. And the more I research and the more I try to understand all of this, it seems like carbohydrates are the issue for a lot of people. And I can pretty much bet that, if I get into ketosis, which most of the time I'm in it now, I went through periods of not, every now and then, and it all just comes back so quickly. So, anyway, when I get into ketosis, pretty much the first thing I notice is that the depression's gone instantly, just gone. Ketosis, depression, gone. And then I notice that my teeth don't hurt anymore. And then I notice that I'm not having headaches anymore. And then I notice that I'm clearer and I can focus, and I'm not, my thoughts aren't as crazy and intense and as negative. There are other problems I have in ketosis where I get really irritable and stuff. But it's secondary to the issues that carbs cause me, and those hallucinations that carbs cause me, the headaches. It's crazy. But it's so different, the two states of energy being, that for me, that I realized that had I known this earlier, and had I somehow encouraged my mother and father to get into ketosis, I think they'd still be alive today. My mother might have lived such a better life. Can you imagine, like, the difference? Because the difference it makes to me is so much. And it just sucks. It sucks how much how much medicine and everything has failed us for so long. How much this, my parents' generation, I think they were Gen X. My father was born in the 60s, 50s maybe, mother 60s. That's Gen X. Or no, boomers maybe, whatever. But the amount of shit that they're fed and that they're told was okay, and the medical system that told them that diet doesn't matter, that it doesn't affect things like cancer and mental health. It really is beyond words to express how much we've been failed by these companies that are just trying to make money. It is insane, it is criminal, it is genocide, right? People living these lives full of suffering, crazy suffering that is unimaginable. Psychotic symptoms like schizoaffective disorder and bipolar and all that stuff. And yeah, it's just really amazing to think how much it might have, difficult to think, how much it might have changed my mother and father's life had I known this earlier, had I known how crazy the differences are if you don't eat carbs. Such a simple thing that we never thought. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I felt passionate about that today and just wanted to talk about it. So all the best and thanks for listening.